Well, no, there's the Andon, and it was made abundantly clear early on, if you have a problem, pull the Andon.
So the stop the line authority to give the people.
And we had thousands of Andon pulls every day. I mean, and we would probably worry more if that went down dramatically.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were expected to make sure you had quality at the source.
Can you explain that process a little bit about how, so did the line shut down, or were there sometimes they pulled the cord and they were able to resolve the issue on the fly?
Yep, great question. So during that L10, if I noticed that there was a problem early in the process, I would pull my Andon. And
what types of problems?
Maybe you noticed that there was a cross-threaded bolt coming toward you, or maybe something wasn't fitting just right, or something was missing, or anything that looked abnormal, or maybe you were trying to get a part in and it wasn't fitting right. You were expected at that point to go ahead and pull your Andon. And what that did was give the team leader the opportunity to come and help you. So the line didn't automatically stop. Now, if the team leader was busy and he or she could not get there in time, by the time it reached the end of the L10, it would stop, which meant not only that process stopping, it meant every process on the line. So, so typically you had a team leader that would come before and pull the Andon off, ask you what's going on, and then they would take responsibility for that. So they would either let it stop and fix it if they needed to, or maybe they could fix it as it was going. But they took full responsibility at that point. Once they decided they were going to release the line, they had taken full responsibility of that defect or that abnormality. So,
and then sometimes it would get escalated up to the group leader.
Yeah, if needed to. And of course, depending on what the issue was, then you have some semblance of problem solving immediately. Okay, what happened? Why did this happen? And a little bit of 5 why on the fly. And if it was something that was not, they would correct the issue, make sure quality was good. But if it was something bigger that they really didn't understand what was causing the problem, then it kicks into another level of problem solving that maybe the group leader gets involved in, and they try to figure out and observe to try to figure out what is the root cause of this, so we can eliminate it forever, and so Alan doesn't have to deal with that again.
And so this is different from traditional cultures in the fact to whereas if there's a problem, naturally as humans we try to solve it on our own or sweep it under the rug, hope that nobody notices. How were they so successful at getting people like yourself to have the confidence to pull the cord and you're not going to get in trouble for that?
I mean, it's a great question because you're right. A lot of my understanding, I've never worked at like the big three or some of the other automotive companies, but my understanding from talking to people at Toyota who did have experience in those companies is it was you weren't supposed to stop that line, even if you knew there was a problem. We'll handle it out in the yard, but that creates all kinds of other problems. First of all, you don't solve the problem, and you don't highlight it right there at the source of the problem. And then if it's out in the marshalling yard or whatever you call it, you have to take all kinds of things apart to get to that, to get to wherever that defect was. So then you've got a risk of scratches of cars and, putting the car back together, because you're out of standard, right? And anytime you're out of standard, your risk of a problem or a defect or an abnormality increases.